Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to have you here with us in London. What an incredible film, The Apprentice.
Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm so sorry for interrupting, but I'm so excited and happy to see you.
Everyone knows Donald Trump, but people might not know what to expect from this specific film, kind of going back to his origins in some ways. So what would you say to people if they're wondering what to expect from the film?
Leave all of your expectations behind you. Like, go and enjoy this movie because it's in a lot of ways educational, I feel like. It helps you understand people. And whether that's Trump or Ivana or Roy Cohn or me as Maria, people are so colorful as human beings. So it's all a matter of what's the journey of this person and how he got to a point of like, we know his name, we know his face, but do we really know his story? So I think it's at the end of the day, that's not a documentary. It's a fictionalized version of something that being the vice president of the organization, raised three children. I didn't know any of these things, and I think it's important to know them because it's still a challenge for a woman to demand to be taken seriously and be treated with respect and equality. Imagine this happening back in the 70s, 80s. That's been a woman way too much ahead of her time. So let's talk about this.
Sebastian Stan, I mean, I feel like he's just one of these actors that is so kind of chameleonic. Like he takes on such different roles, but each time, even in my head, I thought, how can he ever play Donald Trump? But then you watch the transformation on screen, and I guess maybe he's also one of these men who has been impersonated so many times that it would maybe be easy to fall into a caricature, but he doesn't at all. What's it like working opposite him and seeing him become this character?
Well, Sasha is a great partner, first of all, which I think if you have a great partner, it's only gonna do things better for the movie, for you, for everybody, because you're just as good as your partner. And he's a great partner. He is dedicated and he is exceptionally, extraordinarily talented. So it's been a dream to be able to collaborate with him on this. He did a lot of research. I had a lot of respect for him playing in I, Tonya, a real person. He played in Pam and Tommy, a real person. So I knew that he is going to be extremely well prepared and he's going to do a great job. But at the same time, when I'm saying partner and repeating partner is because he's been, if he run into an article or an interview that I haven't seen, he's going to send it to me. If he watches something, he's going to send it to me. If I see something that is interesting, I'm going to send it to him. Which when you have a communication and when you trust the person you're playing with, that's where real art, I believe, starts happening, because it's a mixture between information and like a metaphysical living.
I think maybe the most fascinating thing about seeing, this character of Donald Trump when he was so much younger is he does kind of seem sort of naive. I mean, maybe sweet is too strong, but there's sort of an innocence there. And the relationship between the two of them, you really believe that they did fall in love. So even though we see the beginnings of some of that ruthlessness that has existed, as the time goes on, there's a completely different person there at the beginning. So what was that also like to maybe work on that, and also the relationship between the two of them?
It's a tragedy at the end of the day, because I do believe that, especially looking at footage, reading her book, I do believe that there has been some real love. How and why things go wrong? Why? I mean, I was actually rooting for this relationship as well, because when you see somebody that really likes someone and it's pure love, pure passion. I mean, you look at the movie and you see that the only person that is Donald's decision to go after is Ivana, because with the family he's been around, or with the father, with the brother, he's been born to these people. With Roy Cohn, even Roy Cohn is the one who sends Russell to approach Donald. With Ivana, it's Donald's decision. And it's so strange when you see this undecisive young man finally making a decision. Oh, I like her attitude. I like that she is outspoken and she's bold. We share the same raw ambition, and that's going to be a great partner at home. Yet, maybe not until the end, because sometimes when people have too much power, they don't like to share the spotlight, unfortunately. And it's sad. That's the saddest part, because I was actually really fascinated by looking at people that can build something together, women wanting to be partners in a whole empire with the men next to them. It's great.
And in terms of working on those scenes with Sebastian, were there any that really stood out to you? I guess sort of the more emotionally wrought scenes, even when they're sat by that fireplace, killer or loser, how are you going to be with me? But then, and some of the intimate scenes, and of course that slightly controversial scene in a way, was that something, that you talked about a lot, whether the inclusion of that, how you're going to approach that, but perhaps it also felt very important to have that there?
But I feel like having trust and conversation with people that you work with is the key. And I am absolutely happy to say that I trusted Sebastian and I trusted Ali, and we had a lot of discussions about the whole movie. Like, it's about a relationship that we explore for 10 years. There are a lot of ups and downs in every single relationship, even like for a year. Imagine 10 years. Imagine 3 kids. Imagine a lot of buildings built together. Things that go one way or another. People that come and go in your life. People that change you in a way. It's been good to be able to talk and explore. It's been great that in the beginning there's not a lot of footage. It's not a lot of footage back in the 70s. So it gives you the opportunity to try something authentic, try something that it doesn't have something to compare to. So in the beginning it was a little bit more easy to play with these young people and play with like real love. But when you get to a point of like, okay, for example, we had a scene, and that was the first thing that was shot on set as an improv scene. There's this moment like Donald and Ivana go on opera show, and it's such a strange dynamic at the relationship at this point, because they talk about seeing potential in each other, how they first met, blah 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 blah, and then he says something like, as a joke, Ivana just does what I tell her to do, and she says as a joke as well, man chauvinist, and it's like, okay, there is some tension here. Sebastian and I did it, and I think Ali was just telling us the other day, he was like, do they like each other? Like, as Marie and Sebastian, is there some issues between the two of them? But no, it was just great trust and great relationship that allows you to to provoke each other, and it was just wonderful to play.
And did you have on the flip side, a favorite scene, favorite costume? I mean, this must have been, that a slightly fun element of it, really leaning into some of these extravagant outfits.
I think I loved all the outfits. I think Laura, our costume designer, did a phenomenal job, because we recreated a lot of the dresses, like the blue dress, the opening of the casino dress. That's really recreated. It's fascinating. We recreated the wedding dress as well, and I loved it. When you think about Ivana, you don't really see her with that type of a wedding dress, which is so simple. It's so elegant. It's not loud as a dress. It's like very minimum, very simple, very stylish, contemporary yet timeless. It's really interesting. I think maybe the wedding dress is my emotionally favorite dress, because I do wanting to believe in good love stories. But I have to say that the pink dress is also exceptionally beautiful. It's like, oh my God, can I wear this one day?
And that's slightly, that glimpse you do get of, it's quite a sweet moment when he's helping her put on her shoes. And I guess that's where we do see the sort of two sides. And you sort of, maybe you do feel a sense of tragedy, that was not the side that was more, invested in and nourished. And it was kind of the other side of him that came out more.
Yeah, I wish stories like this don't happen. I believe in love. I believe that you can find your perfect other half and stay with them forever. Even though when you look at the story between Ivana and Donald from the very beginning, there's been, we're about to get married, yet here's the prenup. Like, why the hell do we need to talk about divorce before even getting married? It should not exist. It should not happen. It didn't exist in her life before. It didn't exist in her parents' life, neither in mine. So when you look at something like this, it's like, okay, maybe it's going to be a different scenario one day. But yeah, I believe they've been supportive of each other for a long time. And then something went in the wrong direction.
And you were mentioning earlier Jeremy Strong's performance. And I think actually in the scenes that she shares with Ron, you actually see her fierceness, and also how, she kind of sees through people like him in a way that maybe Donald doesn't as much. When it comes to the prenup, or even the, icy reception at the wedding, so on and so forth. So, what was it also like going head to head with Jeremy in those scenes?
Same as Sebastian, Jeremy is just an exceptionally talented actor. And when you have somebody, one thing that both of them share, which I think is a crucial part for great artists, Ali as well, but as on the actor side, both of them are very intelligent. And when you play with somebody that is smart, like really smart, well-educated, like great on the knowledge side, you know that you are working with somebody that knows what they're doing. So Jeremy has been just very well prepared, yet at the same time capable to try different things in the moment. It's like a game. It's like a tennis match. He's going to throw something, I'm going to throw it back to him. He's going to throw something, I'm going to throw it back to him. And I think it's important to see two very powerful people, Ivana and Roy, very outspoken, very bold, standing up against each other, because they're both fighting for the same man at the end of the day. I feel like it's a love triangle, one way or another. Not romantically, but still for Donald. So seeing them and seeing Ivana as a woman back in the 70s, able to stood up for herself and not wanting to be treated this way by that scary man. Something remarkable.
Final question, what do you think people will take away from this film? Because obviously it is focusing on the origins of Donald Trump, but I think there's also some universal themes in there, which is looking at what is the impact of someone having this power, this privilege, traits of toxic masculinity, how that has been something that seems almost like a poison in the way that he's behaved towards other people, and particularly women. So what do you think people can take away from watching it?
To be honest, I feel like this movie is even more than just these people. It's about the whole system. It's about the whole empire. It's about, I grew up in Bulgaria, but I always heard about the American dream, like that place called the United States of America. You can go there and you can do whatever you want to do. You can be whoever you want to be. It's like the American dream. Beautiful house, a dog, a family, great successful career. But what's the dark side of that? And I think that's what The Apprentice does. Shows you a little bit of sneak peek of what's the dark side of every kind of American dream, and do you really need to do these things? Do you have to sacrifice something in order to be successful? Like, who are the people that you have to surround yourself with? And it's a lot about power dynamics. Like, I'm going to be a friend of this person because it's going to be an obligation to me if I have friendship with him. It's about leverage. It's about connections. It's about toxic relationships, and that's scary. I don't think it should be like this, and I think we should talk about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing all
you.
that with me. Huge congratulations on the film and the
Thank you
amazing
so much.
performance. Thanks so much.